Why the US government sued Genshin Impact for millions? Why? I wonder why.
On January 17th, 2025, the Federal Trade Commission posted a press release on its website saying that due to their referral, the Department of Justice of the United States had gone after Genshin Impact's developer. The lawsuit title is crazy in itself. The United States versus Cognosphere, the parent company of Genshin Impact. I never thought I'd see that sentence in my life. They allege that Genshin Impact has deceived children, teens, and other players into spending hundreds of dollars on prizes they stood little chance of winning, as well as having a blatant disrespect toward.
Again, guys, if you pay money and you may not be getting what you want, that is basically gamble, alright? Just saying, just letting you know that's not a healthy mindset, alright?
Children's privacy rights, and that's barely scraping the surface, guys. Look, this came out of nowhere. It caught everyone by surprise. But it turns out that the FTC has been working on this investigation for years now, as early as 2022. What was even more shocking to many is that instead of countersuing, Genshin Impact's developer didn't. They ended up settling.
Oh wait, Genshin Impact game developer will be banned from selling loot box to teen under 16 without parental consent. Okay. So they paid the fine, 20 million. Oh, they actually backed down, really?
Paying over $20 million and having to change multiple aspects of their monetization in-game. Additionally, every single news outlet at this point has talked about this, okay? This game is such a phenomenon that, yes, whenever something like this happens, it does impact the game industry as a whole. The lawsuit itself that was filed by the FTC contains a lot of interesting little surprises, like how some characters are mentioned by name or how SS Sniper Wolf makes a fucking appearance. The community reaction, though, resulted in an implosion of people completely...
Wait, is SS Sniper Wolf still famous? I may be, like mean saying that, but I don't think I've heard
fighting
much
each
about
other
her
on different opinions.
these days.
The impact that this lawsuit has already been huge, but it stands to be even bigger in the future, so we have to talk about it. Let's do this. If you weren't born yesterday and have played video games for like the last 10 years at least, you know the term microtransactions and loot boxes. You couldn't have avoided them, even if you wanted to. The term loot box has gotten so big that you can find it on the website of the UK Parliament or on an Australian government website. There's a lot of controversy surrounding these game mechanics because for many, they are very similar to what you'd find in a casino, except this is marketed to all ages. Concern kept growing as parents started to notice that the games their children were playing had a lot of gambling mechanics incorporated into them. This all somewhat culminated into the very infamous moment in which the UK brought forth some gaming executives and questioned them about their loot box mechanics, with this EA executive saying that they're not loot boxes, they're just surprise mechanics.
Well, first, we don't call them loot boxes. I think that was...
Whatever term you wish to apply to them, do you consider them ethical?
So what we look at as surprise mechanics.
What's funny to me is
they just changed the term. And so it's alright? Oh, it's not. It's not loot boxes. It's surprise mechanic. It's like a happy surprise. Happy meal,
That these online casinos, right? They don't call themselves...
Wait, talk about Happy Meal. When I was a child, even in Happy Meal, it's like random nice toy, right? It exists long ago. Long ago. Huh, okay.
Casinos, they call themselves gaming providers, right? Like, oh my God, hey, you make slot machines, right? No, I make games. I am a game developer. This sounds like the same exact mental gymnastics. This was back in 2019, and people thought that finally this gambling plague would leave their games alone, but unfortunately, nothing really happened. One of the most infamous companies in all this, of course, is EA Games. They make so much money from microtransactions. They call that extra content. In 2024, they made $4.4 billion from microtransactions, and half of it came from FIFA's Ultimate Team mode.
Oh my God,
FIFA. EA FC 24, because they lost the FIFA trademark. The premise is simple. You build your own...
Yeah, Kinder Chocolate. Yeah, when we were a child, actually, there's a lot of this, like, randomized toy in the snack thing, right? As a, it's a reward. And you have to buy a lot of snacks and get the toy you want. Now you think about it, it actually exists long ago,
Team to play against players. But the way you get the best players is by opening packs and relying fully on luck to get the ones that you want. In 2020, the Dutch court ruled that EA Games has 1 week to make changes to how this mechanic works, otherwise they would fine them 500,000 euros a week up to 10 million euros until they do. Many people saw this as a victory, but EA said, no, we're not going to do that. In fact, we're going to appeal. And 2 years later, that fine got cancelled. Nothing's really changed in that regard.
How?
Look, one thing was for certain by that point, loot boxes were becoming more and more taboo. As companies became increasingly fearful of costly regulation, they started looking at other monetization mechanics found inspiration
what? Wait, what is this game?
Fortnite's item
Fortnite.
shop. You'd get a bunch of rare items. You could buy them for points.
Yes,
and if
me
you
cool.
didn't buy them,
Yeah,
they disappeared,
Fortnite.
and you would never know if you could get them
I'm too
again.
boomer for
Fortnite
this.
found huge profitability with this business model as well as their battle pass, and other companies found success with this
I can't escape. Marvel Rivals. At least Marvel Rivals, there's no loot boxes. Thank God. Hopefully they stay this way. All right, please.
business model too. Not all of them though, okay?
Just
Not
skin.
all of them. However, on the other side of the planet, you still had many game companies using a monetization system similar to loot boxes, and it was getting very profitable. They were called gacha games. There are so many gacha games out there, most of them on mobile, and many of them not even being able to survive for more than a few years before being, well, deleted. You'll always find new releases, and you'll always hear news of old games shutting down. But where the hell did they come from? Well, it's from where all the other good things come from too. Japan. It originated from the term gachapon, which are these machines here.
Yeah,
Let's take the
gachapon.
example of this car gachapon machine where you put 300 yen.
Overwatch. Yeah. I think Overwatch have gacha or like loot boxes as well.
And you're hoping to get your favorite car out of these 5 different cars.
Yes.
The idea here is that you're gambling, but you're gambling on preference, not on money. After putting your money in this machine, you're receiving a car, whether you like it or not. It's just that you might not be getting the one that you want. And that's exactly
I
how
want the
gacha
yellow
games
one.
work
Come
as
on.
well.
I'm gonna get
Wikipedia
it.
takes this even further and says that games such as Magic the Gathering are actually a type of gacha. This would make Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all
True.
those games gacha as well, even though no one really refers to them that way. Now when you hear gacha, you're thinking of a game, free to play, most likely on mobile, that's either from China, Korea, or Japan. And this is where Genshin Impact came in on September 28th, 2020. Gacha before Genshin was very niche. It was also mostly on mobile. Genshin changed that by not only making it available on PC, but on PS4 as well. More importantly, it was appealing to the mainstream audience and not to a niche audience. So if you liked open world games, it was enough for you to try
Oh my
Genshin.
god, is that IGN? Do I like Genshin Impact?
But the thing is, I don't think people quite understand just how much money Genshin makes. Half of its revenue comes
Tops 5 billion in revenue in what the? Wait, I didn't know this. Genshin Impact tops 5 billion in revenue in China alone, on track to hit 10 billion globally in 2025. Holy shit.
from its home country, China. But it's estimated that by 2025, it'll be on track to hit $10 billion in total since release. Some of you watching might be thinking, oh, wait a second, that's not really a lot of money. Well, I don't really blame you. The government throws $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion like it's $5 in your pocket from time to time, right? So here's a fun little comparison.
Oh, they're like Genshin, then suddenly hit Genshin. Like, they're like Dragon Age, then suddenly they hate Dragon Age. Holy shit.
Since Grand Theft Auto 5 released, if you include all their copies sold and all the revenue generated from GTA Online, they've made $8.5 billion. Do you understand now? Like, are we on the same page? Genshin Impact in 5 years has made more than Grand Theft Auto 5 in over a decade. That's how profitable gacha can be for the top companies. For the first 6 months of 2024,
gambling, that's
Genshin
why.
Impact stayed their top earner, with Honkai Star Rail, another game of theirs, being very close second. So it shows that even though gacha games have low life expectancy, Genshin was still holding on quite well. The Federal Trade Commission, of course, will keep track of these things. They're constantly looking at the top earners in app stores, whether it be Apple's or Google's. And their goal as an organization is to stand up for the American consumer when they're not being bribed, of course. The first thing you see on their website is COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, and they were going to use this as a basis to actually file a complaint against Genshin Impact's developer. Which brings us here. United States of America versus Cognosphere. Now you might be wondering why Cognosphere? Why not Hoyoverse? That's the game's company.
Yeah, true.
No?
They have like two names, right? Hoyoverse. It was MiHoYo before, but then like I think their company like evolved, so they become Hoyoverse, and then there's the Cognosphere.
That's complicated. Domestically in China, they're still known as MiHoYo. Globally, for partnerships, they're Hoyoverse. But the parent company that oversees finances and transactions is Cognosphere, based in Singapore, just like Hoyoverse. Which, for sake of clarity, I'll just say Hoyoverse from now on. This case is split into two major parts. The first part focusing on the Children's Privacy Protection Act, and the second part focusing on the monetization mechanics used by Genshin Impact. But the thing they start off with, and I find this really funny, they try to explain why Genshin is directed to children under 13, right? They make it a point. Look at this. They argue that Paimon, right, your companion throughout the whole game, and the mascot of the game in the App Store is directed towards children. Some people will definitely agree with this, some others won't. But I can tell you right now, a lot of adults find Paimon annoying, so maybe they're onto something here. I don't know. Like, I'm not so sure.
True. Actually, I think adults hate Paimon because she is so annoying and she keep repeat stuff, right? Maybe like for children, they would love Paimon because children love, getting repeat same thing over and over again. Like telling a story, kinda in a way.
Sure here, but I just find it so funny. But this for me is where it gets hilarious, okay? They show you an ad where it says Cute Force, where you see 3 characters you can play in the game.
Oh,
Diana,
wow.
Chi-Chi, and Klee. This to them is similar to children's art, and that these promotional materials are appealing to children because they emphasize the childlike qualities of these heroes.
What about Lolicon?
Look, bro, I don't know who's got to tell him, but in the gacha sphere...
No. That's the Lolicon. Alright, here we go. Oh wow, I'm a big fan of Genshin.
This ad would appeal more to certain adults, but that's all I'll say on the matter, okay? Let's keep going. They allege that...
I'm sorry, but why would he bomb Bakudan? Oh god, no, not the Lolicon, bro!
Hoyoverse intentionally hired influencers that have an audience of children to advertise the game to. For example, many of these paid influencers won or were finalists for categories related to gaming and online media at the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards. Some of them were big content creators for Minecraft or Roblox. And they also alleged that some internal planning documents used by Hoyoverse made note of whether hired influencers were known for producing Minecraft or Roblox-related content. To strengthen this argument, they mention a hide-and-seek minigame that happens once a year.
I like this hide-and-seek game. It is very, I guess like children would love this. Even I as an adult, I think it's a very chill, cute game.
Backed by the name of Windtrace, and how they hired an influencer by the name of It's Funny to play it on their YouTube channel.
Damn, 10 million.
You know what? I mean, Bocomelon, but in Roblox. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's the same kind of thumbnail. It does look like a kid's channel. But it's important to note here that there was nothing mentioning any of the gacha mechanics, right? It was just a bunch of friends playing together like you would watch
it's a fun game.
playing Prop Hunt, right?
Yeah.
Are you guys old enough to understand this reference?
It's like Prop Hunt,
God,
yes.
I hope so. But these things were enough for the FTC to determine that Genshin Impact is directed to children within the meaning of the COPPA rule. Their biggest issue relating to COPPA was Hoyoverse collecting personal information from children without obtaining parental consent. They outline how here. It's through their social network. So if you didn't know, Hoyoverse has a social network called Hoyolab where you can share things from all their different games, find resources, and also do a daily check-in that gives you rewards. The FTC argues that in many instances, Hoyoverse has become aware that Hoyolab users are children. Some users have stated or indicated in communications reviewed by Hoyoverse that they were under 13 years old, for example, in social media postings on Hoyolab or in posted photographs, videos, or audio files containing the child's image or voice from which it was apparent that the user was a child. Hoyoverse has in some instances taken limited and insufficient corrective steps when it has discovered a post by a child, such as removing the post in question and muting the user from posting on the Hoyolab social network, but without deleting or seeking verifiable parental consent for the use or disclosure of other personal information of the child already collected. So this is how they argue that despite them knowing that they had children on their website, they took no steps and therefore collected
they act like they are blind, I guess, in the end. They're just like, you know what? Yeah, we don't talk about this. We don't talk about it.
Information with no issues on their end. And you know what? The FTC is not wrong at all here. It took me less than 5 minutes to find a minor posting their cosplay on HoYoLab. I'm not going to show the post itself or the person's username, but all you got to know is it says from a minor, okay? It's in the title and it has over 400 likes, which is viral for HoYoLab. Now, don't get this twisted. It doesn't mean that minors shouldn't be having fun cosplaying their favorite characters, but the entire point of COPPA is for them to have protection while doing it. And if Hoyoverse doesn't acknowledge that they're on their platform, then what's stopping someone from following them, interacting with them, and maybe even messaging them harmful things? Nothing. There are no protections in place. The FTC then reveals that the investigation into Genshin Impact has been going on for a while, and when Hoyoverse actually became aware of it in December 2022, they sneakily changed a little section in their privacy policy, saying our services are not marketed to or intended for children. But for the FTC, that means nothing.
Nah, they always say, like, their game is for children, no? Why the game mechanic so, like, simple, fun, and why the abyss have to be like not difficult, because it's gonna be stressful for the user, the player. That's why like we have to be like children friendly. That's why it's so not fun. That's the excuse.
Because in their opinion, Hoyoverse has not sought to collect parental consent at any point in time.
Yeah.
And then this is where things get interesting. We're talking about monetization, but not just in regards to children, but also in regards to something the FTC calls dark patterns. In this case, the FTC says that Hoyoverse used confusing systems of virtual currency exchanged for loot boxes and deceived people about the low odds of desirable prizes to trick players into spending much more than they meant.
What?
Making it
I mean, they lay out like how many percent you're gonna get, right? From the 10 pools, or like 0.6, is that it, or 0.3? I can't remember.
So in Genshin Impact, in order to pull for a limited 5-star character, you need a currency called Intertwined Fates.
Yeah.
One fate means one pull. To get fates, you need to buy them with primogems. One fate equals 160 primogems. You can earn primogems in-game, but if you want to spend money, you buy Genesis crystals. You can then use the Genesis crystals to convert them to primogems to then use the primogems to buy the fates. But when you buy the Genesis crystals, you're not told how much they equal in terms of pulls. You have to do math. You have to unfortunately use your brain, take out the calculator, and calculate how much does this mean? If I spend $100, how many pulls do I realistically get? You don't have a straightforward answer in-game, and this is why the
gonna say it, the most expensive pack, $100 is insane. All right, guys, $100 for how many pools? Maybe like 70, or like I remember, right? Like the most expensive one's gonna get you like 1 5-star. That's it, guys. All right, is unbelievable, because you have to. It's not just character. You would maybe like want to get the weapon as well. But you can only get one, guys. Either the character or the weapon. But you might not get the character, because you might lose the 50-50.
Is alleging that this is a dark
insane.
pattern strategy. Additionally, they say that
concept.
On banners, you see the words probability increased. You also see things like huge drop rate boost on marketing material, which is another dark pattern because it's deceiving. There's no drop rate boost. It's the same thing on every banner, except this one's limited for 20 days. This leads us to the next part, in which the FTC says that Hoyoverse had hired influencers specifically to show off these gambling mechanics to make them fun for children. This is when I would encounter
I think Eggman played Genshin too. I think it got sponsored as well. Did Jacksepticeye got sponsored? Okay, I remember there's a lot of like big YouTuber got sponsored by Genshin Impact. True.
I never thought I'd see in 2025, which is SS Sniper Wolf. The FTC says that in May 2021, Hoyoverse hired her and paid her more than $100,000 to record 2 videos promoting.
What the fuck? $100,000 just to record 2 short video promoting Genshin Impact. Holy shit. Oh, that's a nice money. That's a quick earn money. No wonder. All right. No wonder, people getting sponsored.
Genshin Impact, building upon their narrative that this is a 2-time winner of the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards in the favored gamer category. So her audience has a lot of kids watching. Now, here's where it gets really tricky. She was pulling for characters, right?
Wow,
typically, if you do a 10 pull, you'll always see a purple light if you don't win a 5-star, because you're guaranteed to get a 4-star every 10 pulls. If you were to pull for a 5-star, you see a golden light.
Yeah, where's my sponsor? What the hell?
Oh my god, I just got a 5-star. In Sniper Wolf's video, it's purple, okay? This means that it's a 4-star. There is no, it's impossible that a 5-star is in there. And yet, guys, I'm telling you, you will not believe what happens when she gets to the final pull. Okay, first off, remember, we pulled 10 wishes. Okay, you cannot pull more than 10. You cannot pull less except for one at a time, right? And yet, all of a sudden, you see 11 and then 12. And oh, look, this is a 5-star.
Oh, wow.
And a purple
Oh, my
pull.
God.
Wow. Wow. Who would have ever thought?
She's like, oh my God. Oh my God. That's so crazy. I got Zhongli. Wow.
Dude, wow, your RNG is really good, dude. It's so good that it defied game mechanics and is as crazy as someone getting a rare in a CSGO case and it turning out to be a skin worth 2 cents. You know, this is how crazy this is,
Oh
just
my
so you
God.
understand. The FTC alleges here.
No, I can
that
do it as well.
Hoiber's
Come on, Genshin. Yeah, sponsor me. What the hell? You know, I can fake the surprise reaction as
are
well.
complicit because they got to review this video
Well,
before it was
I
published.
get 12 poo instead of 10, and I got, oh my God. Even though it's purple, I get Zhongli. Oh my God. I'm so lucky.
They were paying her to do it, and they still approved this. You cannot wish for more than 10
Let's
times at the same
go.
time. And yet here you saw 12. Okay, that was already misleading.
Yeah.
And you see a 5-star character
Definitely
appear
fake
when the
edit, you know. So should get 5-star and get the surprise reaction, right? So the kids saw it, will get stimulation. So they'll be like, oh my God, I want to be like her too. You know, I want to get lucky. I want to get Zhongli too. Because that's a good thing, right? Getting the rare thing in a game.
highest one was supposed to be 4 stars. Another dark pattern. Look, part of the reason why many Genshin fans were shocked to find this lawsuit was because when it comes to their gacha mechanics, Genshin are very honest with their odds. You have this massive array of paragraphs that tell you exactly what to expect when you pull and the probability.
I'm not gonna read
I saw
that
many
shit,
people
bro.
arguing this, saying, dude, who doesn't read this? Like, you have to be an idiot to not read the odds. And yet, the FTC is alleging that these odds
0.6.
are misleading. Look, when you get a 5-star character, you have a coin flip that plays in the background. If you win the coin flip, you get the character that you want, the limited character. If you lose it, you get a character that no one
get
wants, someone from the
Chi-Chi.
standard pool. When Genshin Impact
Everyone
says
loves
that the
Chi-Chi,
base
right?
probability of winning a 5-star character is 0.6%, they're being misleading. So what the FTC says is that it should be 0.3%, a 3 in 1,000 chance to get the character that's actually on the limited banner, which is what people are actually pulling for, right?
In reality, it's 0.3. What? Okay, but why would they lie? Why 0.6? Just say 0.3. So they lied. Is that it?
Realistically, no one's pulling for their 6th Diluc or Chi-Chi, right?
No, I love
All these
Chi-Chi. Come
things
on, give
added
me the
up
10
make
of
up this
that.
case. The FTC believes that through Genshin Impact, Hoyoverse has failed to protect children's data, has failed to get parental consent, has used dark patterns in its monetization mechanics, and that they have made a conscious effort targeting children in their marketing campaigns. Very shortly after, the community on Twitter caught wind of this, and well, a lot of them had different things to say. PC Gamer published this article saying the FTC says Genshin Impact deceived children, teens, and other players into spending hundreds of dollars on prizes they stood little chance of winning. This then led into the biggest tweet of this entire shitstorm, which was made by Doro44, a well-renowned Genshin content creator. Here's what he said. Not to defend the
Let's go. It's the Genshin content creator time.
multi-billion-dollar company, but aren't the gacha mechanics explained in game? If you're allowing your kids to spend your money in a gacha game, then that's just bad parenting. I'm not sorry. But I will say, implementing more protective measures so that kids don't go spending money they shouldn't isn't a bad thing. So obviously, as you can tell from the amount of comments, Doro received quite a bit of content for bad thing.
Not to defend the multi-billion-dollar company, but leave my multi-millionaire company alone. All right, I get what he means. You know, I get, like the parenting. The parents should know what the kids are doing behind your back. But oh my God, come on.
So obviously, as you can tell from the amount of comments, Doro received quite a bit of controversy. People were very divided on this. And while
Stop
many
bullying
also
my
tended to agree with him,
multi-billion-dollar
there was a
company.
lot of chaos. What I will say, though, is that PC Gamer knew exactly what they were doing here, okay? This title doesn't really sum up the entire case very well. There would have been way less chaos if they just said, FTC sues Genshin Impact over Child Safety Protection Act. Like, that's completely different than what they're saying here. The damage was
that's like a clickbait title, so people will pay attention to that. That's how it works these days, yes.
done, though. This tweet was the ground zero for what erupted on Twitter. This meme right here was being passed around a lot. Right?
Oh my
Like if
God.
someone thought that you were siding with Hoyoverse over the FTC, leave alone the multi-million-dollar company.
Oh my God,
Another
it's
content
so
creator
funny.
siding with Doro was Mr. Pokey, saying to people that are shitting on Doro, it's not a matter of whether the parents are aware that these are gacha games, but how the hell are your kids getting access to your credit cards? If my mom found out I swiped her credit card when I'm 12, I'd be beaten beyond recognition.
All right, I think, right. Like, how how the hell your kids getting access to credit cards? Okay, I think maybe most of them using iPad or iPhone. But I think when you make purchase in apps, right? Like iPads maybe or iPhone, you just have to click the like purchase button and then like scan your face or something, yeah, or even like the passcode, and then the order is like, you know, just processed. That's how it is. So I'm sure you're gonna get a like message like your credit card being used. If you didn't check that, then you know it's on you. Just saying, all right. You should check all your transaction as a parent. Even if you are not parents, even if you're alone right now, if someone's using your credit card, you should definitely call the service and freeze your card, guys. That's how you know who's spending your money. All right. Register credit card is easy, right? Yeah, like the children's, you know, they're just gonna like click, you know, purchase, top up, and then it just go. You know, that's why don't save your card on the iPad the kid using, I guess, if that makes sense. But I have no idea. I'm not a parent.
Ignition, implying that in this case, the consumer needs to face responsibility, not just the company, with Doro thanking him for sharing his same opinion. On the other hand, you had Braxophone, a well-known guide maker in the Genshin community, saying this to Doro's tweet: "It's parents' job to parent kids, but there's no justifiable reason for gacha to exist in the first place other than to disguise gambling as a fun game. We should not normalize gambling up to $300 every 3 weeks for game content and
This is actually based, yeah. Who's this guy? Sorry guys, I don't follow content creator of get like gacha game. True, like I don't get why gacha game exists at the first place. It's just not fun for everyone. He promoted this shit too. Oh really? He promoted this shit. A lot of bad things got normalized. Yeah, because on the outside, right? It's a fun game. It's a fun, free game. Everyone can play with their friends. It's called, right? Like you can play up to 4 players and explore the world. But when it comes to like, you want the character, seeing your friend getting the character, you didn't get the character, you would get jealous. Maybe you want to keep up with your friends, keep up with the trend. So you gotta top up. That's how they prey on your like. What do you call again? Like you're scared of missing out, right? The fear of missing out. We should not normalize gambling up to $300 every 3 weeks. Yes, because like there's gonna be like new banner, new character.
Especially not to children, gacha is predatory. He then goes on to say that the only reason he plays gacha games is because they're the only live service games that are anime-based that are constantly updated. Out. Bear in mind, this is someone who makes their entire living around gacha, and yet even he couldn't defend this monetization mechanic.
Oh, he actually stand up,
was not just from a content creator, but someone
against
who has
gacha
a
game.
child. Gacha Smack is a content creator that makes content on Hoyoverse games in general, and here's what he had to say. Here's my take. The average 35 plus parent in the world has no earthly clue what a gacha game even is. The games also hide their gacha in their descriptions. They don't even disclose a single loot box in any of their advertising, nor do they mention the price points. The typical mom or dad is going to examine that it's a 12-plus-year-old rating game, examine the description as well as the cartoon visuals and go, this seems fine. This is deceptive and intentional by the companies because they know parents have no earthly clue about mobile gaming because most parents don't play games period or understand the industry the way we do. The kid gets addicted and runs into the price points, and how that unfolds is absolutely due to a lack of supervision. Regardless, these companies need to disclose in their marketing and promotions that they are in fact gacha games that contain gambling elements, which falls on a lack of regulation from the government. Parents would see it in the description and say, no shot my kid is playing this, long overdue regulation needed. Now someone did comment that the price points are actually there for the game. On the App Store you can see how much all the bundles cost, but if we're going to be objective here, every single mobile game at this point has the same exact price points for packs, with the highest one always being $100, so it's not really enough for a parent to understand that there's gambling here. This had become a very heated topic for a while in between content creators.
Purchasers age rating 12. Oh, damn. Wait, Genshin is age for like 12? Huh.
And gacha game
no
players.
wonder they get sued.
In the end though, Hoyoverse themselves came out with a statement regarding the FTC's lawsuit. They
yeah,
said,
Genshin is age for 12 plus. They should have put like 16 maybe. It's for kids.
In the end though, Hoyoverse themselves came out with a statement regarding the FTC's lawsuit. They said, Cognosphere, the distributor of Genshin Impact, has reached a settlement agreement with the United States Federal Trade Commission to strengthen and increase transparency around our parental consent.
Okay, so they agree, like increased transparency around parental consent. Yeah, they're like being shady. When you look at the app store just now, right? Yeah, they don't even tell the consumer that the packs they are buying is for gambling. It's just in-game surprise pack, right? So they are being very, very shady. Right
and
there.
Virtual currency practices. A statement from Cognosphere is below. Animation-style games and shows are well received by global audiences and players across various ages. Genshin Impact is a popular free-to-play anime-style game designed for older teens and adults. While we believe
what now they are saying it's for older teens and adults. This freaking company, they're like jumping around. Whatever suits their, excuse. Now they are saying this game is for older teens and adults, right? I wonder how their combat or like game mechanics gonna work now because it's not for children.
Many of the FTC's allegations are inaccurate. We agreed to the settlement because we value the trust of our community and share a commitment to transparency for our players. Under the agreement, we will introduce a new age gate and parental consent protections for children and young teens and increase our in-game disclosures around virtual currency and rewards for players in the US in the coming months. So in other words, the FTC's lawsuit's bullshit, but hey, listen, we can't be bothered to countersue. Take your $20 million, we'll make that back in a day. And yeah, I guess we'll change some things around in the game. Okay, this is
they
as
don't give a
straightforward
fuck
as it
in the
gets,
end.
guys. $20 million for them is child's play. But this hasn't stopped people from comparing Hoyo vs. game mechanics to other games that are operating with no issues. For example, look at the odds that EA games give you for FIFA packs. When you open a premium gold pack, they say that it's a 4.2% chance to get a player gold 84 plus or higher in terms of stats. But what if I wanted a player that's like 94 or 96? What are the odds there? We don't know. Let's not forget that even Apex Legends, I know it's a dead game, still has loot boxes as well. And let's not pretend here that children don't use these.
Oh my God,
and let's not pretend that EA Games actually seeks parental consent. This is why many people have shared the opinion that the US government is actually using COPPA, weaponizing it in order to go after companies they don't like, most notably Chinese companies like TikTok and Hoyoverse. But how will this affect Genshin Impact and other Hoyoverse games? Well, as a start, you're probably going to have an option to immediately buy Fates instead of Genesis Crystals, to then convert them to Primogems, and then buy Fates with them. There's probably going to be an option that's like, yo,
yeah, true. It's Chinese company, right? TikTok, Genshin Impact.
Buy 20 pulls for this much, buy 30 pulls for this much, among other little changes. So in some ways, yes, this only serves to benefit the consumer. The consumer is not losing anything here. But the question is this: now that we know that the FTC has been working on this complaint for years, who else are they targeting? There are other gacha games out there that compete with Genshin Impact directly, like Wuthering Waves. It's also a Chinese game, but a $20 million fine will severely impact their cash flow. It won't just be a walk in the park like Hoyoverse. So will this stop here, or will it get worse? That's the question on everyone's minds. Look, one thing is for certain in the end, gacha loves American money. But let's see how far they'll comply with this. And let's see if the FTC will seek to go after other, more predatory video game companies in the future. For now though, that's pretty much it. If you watched till the end, I love you. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next video whenever that is. Mwah.
Wait, that's it? 20 million? Lol. I mean, 20 million only. Yeah. Small amount of money. They're gonna get the money back with one banner, just saying. First they came for TikTok. Yeah, I seen the video. The CEO be like, I'm Singaporean, not China, Yeah, but they'd be like, but Chinese mean China, no? The CEO keeps saying like, no, I'm Singaporean. I'm not China. It's so funny. They are so fucking racist. That is so funny, man. Yeah, maybe they're gonna go after Marvel Rivals. We're gonna see how they're gonna handle that. Definitely, guys. The racism towards like Asian people is excusable, right? That's why. They don't really care. Interesting video by Mujin again. It's funny. Yeah, 20 million, they're gonna get it back in one banner.